Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is Idioms 122. The idiom today is take the law into your own hands. Okay, let's look at the note here. This idiom means that someone has decided to do something on his or her own without contacting authorities, often in a manner, often in a way, that may be violent or illegal, especially someone who has lost faith in the legal system. So maybe that's why they've gone this way. If they thought the legal system, the police, the authorities would deal with this problem and take care of it, maybe they wouldn't do this. But I guess they don't feel like they're getting justice or satisfaction this way. So that's why sometimes some people may take the law into their own hands. We often say you shouldn't take the law into your own hands because technically you're kind of stepping over the line, and maybe you could be turning yourself into a criminal. This is what they mean. So let's look at example number one here. The Philippines leader, Duarte, took the law into his own hands by using killing squads. At least that's what they report on the news anyway. To get rid of drug dealers and deal with an out-of-control drug problem. Yeah, even though he's the leader of the country, they claim that he's doing this. Normally, we would be arresting them and bringing them to jail, but maybe he doesn't want to deal with that. Maybe it costs too much money. Maybe the drug dealers will get off. Drug dealers usually have a lot of money. They can get the best lawyers. They could tie their cases up in the legal system for many, many years. Some of them may even get off. And maybe they could even be continuing their business while they're being, prosecuted. So I guess Duarte wants to skip all that. So that's what they mean. So even though he's the leader, he actually is kind of the law, but really he's going outside the law if he's truly doing this as the news claims that he's doing this. Okay, anyway, let's look at number two. The old book and movie, Death Wish. Yeah, I actually read this book when I was a kid, and I remember the movies, and they actually made about 3 or 4 movies. The original actor, who's I'm sure he's dead now, was Charles Bronson. He was a good actor. And the movie, this Death Wish, this is also an idiom too. If we say somebody is doing something that could be dangerous, or they could be risking their life doing it, sometimes people say, "Are you crazy? What, do you have a death wish? Why would you do that? Because it's so risky." So that's what kind of death wish means. And that was the name of this book and the movie. So the old book and movie Death Wish was the story of a vigilante. Our vigilante he's the perfect example of someone that takes the law into his own hands. He is not a police officer or anybody with authority, but he ends up, fighting injustice or fighting criminals on his own. That's a vigilante. Vigilante who took the law into his own hands after robbers broke into his house and brutally raped his daughter. Yeah, I think they gangbanged her. It was a number of robbers that got into their house, and they killed his wife. So all in this one incident, he lost his whole family. And even though his daughter wasn't dead, in the original story anyway, she ended up in a mental institution after that. It was just so traumatic for her. So and he did try to wait. He kept going back to the police station, seeing if they got any leads, and they were overworked themselves, and they seemed inept. They're never probably going to find these guys. So that's when he started to take the law into his own hands. Now, in the original story, I don't think he could actually find the original attackers that broke into his house, but he started hanging out like in Central Park in New York City in the middle of the night, where he knew people would mug him, and anytime they tried to mug him, he would just pull out his gun and shoot them and get rid of it. So maybe he really did have a death wish, but he felt like somebody had to do something. So that was the idea. So he definitely took the law into his own hands. I've seen recently that they're trying to they're making a remake that's coming out with Bruce Willis. I guess is based on this original story. I'm sure they probably changed the story somewhat or slightly in this new version, but who knows? Maybe it'll be good. Anyway, I hope you got it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.